What up, what up, what up? This Ibn Webb, Ib Webb, Karana Sum here. Official Thanksgiving going down here. This is going to be a joy here. You know, I got the pleasure of having two great individuals, great athletes in their own right in every which way here. You know, Kim Curry and Amber Davis, formerly Andrews there. Two separate schools. You know, they grew up not too far from one another here, but they said they're going to do it. They wanted to do it together. So, how could I say no here? I'm ecstatic to have them on. So let me just be quiet and let's get to it. Hold tight. Hey,
what's going on?
What's up, y'all? What's up?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm like ecstatic. All day I'm just like I can't wait to catch up with y'all here. I know obviously Amber just going to school with you, Kim, talking with you for probably last year, even when I started this year. And thank you for finally agreeing to jump on. I appreciate this.
Yeah, it didn't take any coaxing, right, Kim?
No, not at all.
Cool. So I don't know. As I mentioned to each of you separately here, I just remember this reason me doing this initially. I was just doing it with family. Obviously, we was slowly coming out of everything here, and it was just cool. My way of just kind of just showing my appreciation to them and what have you. And then I just kind of extended it on to other stuff, and particularly just growing up in Jersey, particularly good old Essex County there, and then it just got going, one after another here, and it's just been great here. And like I said, and Kim even knows, even when I got going here, I reached out to her, was just like, she's like, nah, I ain't doing it. No. so like I said, for you to have a, change your mind here is cool. So let me be quiet because, y'all didn't come on here I didn't come on here to hear me talk. Let me put it like that.
You
did? Yeah. How y'all been? What y'all up to?
See, Ibn, the plan was we were going to interview you.
Nah, look at y'all. I don't know about that. I don't have anything to share.
And why don't you start?
Well, where do we begin? I'm in schools. I'm a physical therapist in public schools, so my year has just kind of gotten off to a crazy start. Okay. And I'm in Belleville, New Jersey. The family's all good. Everybody's doing well. Lance actually got us kind of hooked up together. Mm-hmm. He's like, "You remember Ib?" I said, "Yeah, I remember Ib." And he's like, "Well, he called me, trying to get in touch with you." And I was kind of wondering why. Now I know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so everybody's doing well. Still trying to keep active and do different things. But overall, I think the last 2 or 3 years have been kind of challenging with COVID. So I feel like there's a little bit of a just trying to come out of that. You know what I mean? But doing well. Family's all good, and I think I'm just trying to find a new norm in this next year.
Nah, hey, especially you talk about education in the schools too. Yeah, so I can only imagine. What's up, Kim?
Well, I am in Connecticut, and I am working at UConn in the athletics department. I work with student athletes in cross country, track and field, women's soccer, and women's ice hockey. I've been an administrator in athletics for, I guess, the better part of 20 years. And kind of like living in, I don't know if we'll ever be post-COVID, but living in the, I guess, post-critical period of COVID. We're just getting back to being in person and having meetings and just getting settled into a new school year.
Nah, good stuff. And I could probably throw a rock to where you living at, as we both know. You live in Connecticut, and I'm up here these days here. Because actually, when I told my wife I finally got Kim here, she said, "You haven't caught up with her yet, besides this damn podcast, whatever you're doing." Yeah, so I was like, nah. She was like, "You better connect with her." So, yes. So I'm even getting encouraged to make sure she know how I am with my Jersey people. So
Ibn, I just want to say thank you for continuing to extend yourself. After initially my saying no, this is definitely not something that I'm used to doing, and but I appreciate your persistence and allowing Amber and I to work together, which helps lighten the load a bit. But I will say that I think Amber and I agree being women in sports, this is kind of an homage to women that came before us and the women that are coming behind us, come behind us and continue to pursue their athletic dreams. It's been an honor to be a student athlete, a female student athlete, in the time that we were.
No, absolutely. And I know, especially where you're at now, you know, it's sports craze, you know, just being on that campus, I'm sure, day in and day out here. But before we get to all the grown-up stuff both you ladies, you know, are doing these days here, just take it back a little bit here. You both from East Orange, or you ended up in East Orange somehow? Or how did it go?
Yeah. Well, I was born Orange Memorial, which is closed. But Kim and I are basically sisters from another mother, because we can see each other's homes that we grew up in, like out the window.
Yep.
So we pretty much grew up together in East Orange. Kim and Robin, her siblings, we call them the Black Brady Bunch. But they went to the public schools, and then, you know, my brother Lance, Brent, and I, we wound up between the Catholic school, Holy Name for elementary school, and then we got to Immaculate. Brent and I and Lance went to Essex Catholic. So, but yeah, we were pretty much there for most of our lives until college.
Yep.
Wow.
And it was I think, looking back on our childhood, we played outside every day. And it wasn't just my siblings, whom I adore. I have 5 siblings. But there were other kids on the block, across the street, down the street, and we would play every day. Every day. Kickball.
Double Dutch, right?
Yeah, exactly. Jump rope. Capture the flag. I mean, scatter. I mean, we played everything. Basketball in everybody's backyards. Football. I mean, you name it, we played it.
It was a great community to grow up in. And we had, you know, and I think that we had boys, girls, like everybody kind of played together, and it toughened us. It made us all enjoy sports. And I think that might be why we came into basketball. And I mean, both my brothers played, you know, we had like Keith and Daryl and Scott, like all the boys in our area.
And the women, it wasn't a separate women's game. We all played together.
Yeah. So it was fun.
Was basketball the sport y'all both initially gravitated to, or was it something else first and then somehow ended up playing basketball?
Good question. It was always basketball. It started off as basketball for me, and in high school I played some other sports, but it was always the first love was basketball.
And for me, I'd say actually it was cheerleading. I know that sounds a little crazy.
That's a sport. People getting scholarships these days for the cheerleading.
This is true.
Yeah, I was into cheerleading. It wasn't like my first love, but I kind of gravitated toward it. And I think there was a point where I realized my father wasn't coming to see me cheer. Like, he would go to see my brothers play basketball. So I said, you know what, maybe I'll try basketball, and then he'll come see me. And that's honestly the way I started to play basketball, because I wanted my father to come see me play.
Man, who did you cheer for?
I cheered for the elementary school I went to. Was K to 8, which was Holy Name. It's closed now. It's across the street from the Whitney Houston School in East Orange. So it is in East Orange, but it was a Catholic school, and that's where I started my little cheering career. Didn't last long, but it was cool.
Nah, it's cool that I know. Obviously, ultimately, it's basketball. Do y'all start playing? Obviously, I talked about playing around the way here. When did y'all start playing organized?
My first memory of organized basketball when we were younger was watching Amber's older brother Lance play at Holy Name, and then Amber playing at Holy Name. I think being in a public school system, organized basketball wasn't really available as early as it seemed to be available at Holy Name. So my first experiences were as a fan, just watching and loving the excitement of the game. My father played football. He did not play basketball. So I grew up in a football house. That's the first sport I probably learned was football. So going to basketball games and watching Amber and her brother play was just really exciting. And I wanted to play as soon as possible. I went to Columbian School in East Orange, and I don't remember really playing or in an organized fashion until maybe 5th grade, fourth grade. And I wasn't on a team really. I just played with the boys. Whenever they played, that's when I played.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think as Kim said, Holy Name was my first experience between like the bingo and cheering and all the other, experiences of the Catholic school. And then like the Lauder Hands were at Holy Name. I'm trying to think. We had quite a few people that, played, and I was on the girls team. I remember Stacy Quamby and we met as rivals because she played for Our Lady of Lourdes before we started to play together when we went to Immaculate. So that was pretty much my first experience with basketball. Yeah. And then I never looked back. I just loved it.
Yeah, what you didn't hear, and even with that being said, and why you didn't go join Kim over at Scott? You had was it Immaculate? You had to go to Immaculate. I know some parents is like, we're not playing this public school thing.
You know what? Looking back, it was a big sacrifice for my parents because we all, like I said, we all went to Catholic school. I don't know why they felt we needed to go. I don't know if they thought we'd get into too much trouble in the public schools. I'm not sure. But I would be like, look at Kim and Robin, they're doing great. We could have an empire at Scott. No,
we would have loved to have you.
So I'm not really sure how it wound up being that way, but I do think ultimately I enjoyed my experiences and it helped form me to who I am today. So it was a good thing for me looking back. But I sometimes envied my friends that went to public school because I felt like they just got better experiences overall, and there was more to choose from. But when I look back now, I appreciate what I did have.
Nah, most definitely. Then Kim, you get to Scott, and Amber's similar question here. You get to are you playing varsity immediately, or you had to pay your dues?
So before getting to Scott, I met up with some women that went to Whitney Houston, some young women, some girls at the time that went to Whitney Houston, and we played at Hart Middle together. And I will say that that's probably that's when the real basketball spark took off. I played with some really great girls at the time: Kim Gregory, Marla Turner, Maria Jones, Rhonda Giles, Sharonda Ballou. These are women that I did not play with at Columbian School, but when we got to middle school, there was something really special even then among these young women, and we were competitive. Maybe we were a little arrogant, confident, but by 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we were on a travel team, and we were playing some really good teams in New Jersey. And I think the girls that I played with had a lot of natural talent. And they were driven and competitive, and that was a really good fertile ground for me to start a basketball career. It's not that I knew a lot about basketball, and I think that there are a lot of opportunities that we could have learned a lot more, but it was about being organized, being on a team, playing with women that were competitive, playing with women that wanted to score, that wanted to be good. And we took pride in that. And I think that was like the special time period of my basketball development before Scott even. So I think because we all played together in middle and then went to Scott together, we went straight to varsity. we played JV in junior high.
Yeah. No. Nah, most definitely. Yeah, from the sound of things, it's the right thing to do. Definitely.
Looking back, our parents, and I think Amber, I can speak for Amber's family, our parents were doing the best that they could for us.
Yes.
And being one of 6, going to private school just wasn't an option. So it wasn't that we also didn't look over at Amber's family and go, oh man, Holy Names looks like that would be great, or Immaculate looks like that would be great. We just couldn't afford it. So we made the most of the opportunity that we had, which was public school. My dad was a public school teacher at East Orange High. My aunt was a public school teacher at East Orange High. And we knew they cared about their students. So, I think that they prayed and prayed over us and sent us right on to public school. And, my father being an educator and my mom being such a hands-on mother, it was about public school. We went to public school, but it was also about what we learned at home.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Most definitely. How about you, Amber? Here, I mean, you make your way over to 33 College Place, Montclair, New Jersey. Here, I mean, are we you playing varsity in the beginning, or how we fit? Because they already got some people there.
Right. I don't believe. I mean, I think I tried to get in the door, and I had some good big sisters. I remember like Rachel Reynolds and Karen Jefferson and Jackie Jones, and some. There were some great people before me. So I don't think I came in the door raising much, but I remember thinking I could get in there. So I think I had a little longer road than Kim did. I just had to come in and prove myself. But I learned from a lot of the people that were there. And I think that, I didn't have that group that I came in with. So I had to kind of, fill the ropes out and learn where my point was. Cause they're like, are you a point guard? Are you a shooting guard? Are you this? I'm like, look, I'll be wherever I can play. But, so I think I had to establish myself a little bit more, but it was kind of fun doing that. And I learned a lot in the process.
And it's crazy. I mean, you ladies, as far as playing the sport, as you start going up different levels here, but how do y'all manage playing sports and still trying to be a teenager and all this, just looking like, how did you, I mean, because I know life was busy, especially if you had three-way calling was probably jumping off back then. I mean, all kind of things, emergency breakthroughs, you know how this go. Yeah, so how'd y'all manage all this stuff?
By the grace of God.
Yeah. Nah.
I think that sports for me was kind of like a savior because it was like the equalizer. It like helped me to, I didn't go through a lot of the ups and downs that I feel like some of my peers did looking back. I mean, at the time, but I think that it kind of kept me away from a lot of things that I might have gotten into because I was like, oh, I got to go to practice, or I have, spend time here, or I have to do my homework when I'm not doing this. And I think that it really helped to mold me to just be a little more purposeful in what I was doing. And I feel like I didn't have the time to get into as much trouble. So I kind of stayed maybe on a straighter path. And then I had, friends and family around me that kept me there too. Because like I said, Kim's family was like a second family. I was at her house probably more than I stayed in my house sometimes. Sometimes my mother would be like, are you eating there too? I'm like, what's one more? But I do think that sports helped me a lot. So I look at it as a positive versus, a negative in terms of that. What do you think, Kim?
Yeah, I would say absolutely 100%. I think that there is something within the athlete that you're just driven to do what it is that you enjoy doing. And that was playing. I will have to confess, defense was never my thing. But you play basketball because you enjoy scoring or you enjoy competing. And so I think, like Amber said, I didn't view it as a sacrifice. I viewed it as just a part of my life. And yes, I had phone calls, but again, I'm one of 6 children. So we all had to share the phone. So you didn't have as much time on the phone as you might have hoped. But I also had my father and my mother at home, and they set some boundaries, some very clear boundaries. And they didn't start setting the boundaries when we were teenagers. They had already established boundaries. So it was always going to be homework. Get your homework done. What are your academic responsibilities? And then came sports. Okay. and if you made a commitment to your team, then you had the responsibility of doing everything you needed to do to be there. Yeah. So, I mean, I was a teenager, through and through. But I think that, as Amber said, sports really kept me focused. I loved it. It's not even that it was a sacrifice. It was just something that I love to do.
Yeah. And that y'all did, both teams, as far as winning. Both back then, both y'all winning. Both teams was winning here. I mean, I'm not sure. I I didn't even bother looking. I thought I would knew this, but Amber, did y'all win the county before Kim and them? I want to say yes. I want to say yes.
I don't know if we did before. Oh yeah, actually, I think we did because we had I don't know, Kim, because you were a year behind me, right? And I remember 90 we won, but I also remember because we had Dana win,
and then they stole Dana, right?
Exactly, they stole her from us.
Okay.
I was like, what happened here? But no, we had a great team in 90. We had Andrea, we had Stacy, we had Dana, Julie, like quite a few great players and just a good cohesive team. And I do remember that was probably one of my favorite years there, although I enjoyed all my years, but winning definitely helps. So yeah.
So after y'all still Dana, Kim, right?
Yeah, Kim.
No. But y'all went in, like you said, you talked about your girls, Marla and all of them anyway. Y'all was getting busy regardless. And Dana just added another piece.
She was like the icing on the cake. And I cannot underestimate or understate the contribution she made to the team. She brought a whole new layer to the program. Not one that we felt we needed, but it was like, hey, if she's gonna be here,
yeah, why not? Oh yeah.
Then that just makes us all the stronger. Yeah, no, I mean, Dana Wynn was a D1 prospect early on. Amber, we had the opportunity to play with Dana as part of youth games.
Right.
So like at some point, Amber and I were teammates. Amber, Dana, myself.
Wasn't Tamika Dixon on our team too?
Was she on our?
I think she was.
I think she was too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we've had opportunities to play together, and I guess that's what is so wonderful about the time period that we played is that we had some really good talent in northern New Jersey. I mean, I'm gonna of course equalize it to East Orange, but I mean, we had some talent. I played AAU with the Wright sisters and the twins, and I mean, we've had some really special opportunities to really immerse ourselves in basketball. But we played with Dana together games.
That's true. You didn't totally steal it. That's right, Ken.
Yeah. You mentioned AAU. I mean, how was y'all working on y'all games in the off seasons? Like, was it AAU or just individually y'all going to Wassesson Solve? I don't know what your somebody's backyard. I mean, how was y'all just getting better?
That's a good question. And what did you do?
You know what? Back then, I wish that I had been a little behind because I think that, back when I was coming up, the WNBA didn't really exist yet. So my basketball was fun. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't like all in and I wouldn't be practicing 24/7. I kind of just went, I showed up and then I did other stuff. But I do remember Coach McGrady, he had mentioned, he said, what are you doing for college? And I didn't even think that I could get a scholarship in college. And I remember that being the moment where I was like, oh, maybe I should put more time into this. And that's when that was my first and last year AAU opportunity, but I wanted to do it to be seen so I could possibly get a scholarship and that kind of thing. And I was grateful for that because I played for, I think it was a team called the Monarchs. Did you play with us, Kim?
I played for the Monarchs as well.
Okay. And then Keisha Phelps, her and I actually were recruited together to UMass. And she stayed. I didn't love it, but we did, get that goal of a scholarship. And that was pretty cool. So I think that AAU was probably my biggest opportunity to get some additional play in. And because Immaculate wasn't the biggest, like until we started really winning, that was a small school compared to a lot of the competition we played. So we didn't get as much exposure as some of the other bigger schools did. So that got me a little more exposure that I needed.
And Kim, Amber kind of answered this. So I just got to ask you, like, when did you realize, like, I might can play on a college level? When did that kind of click?
That's goodness. Well, I guess being one of 6 children, it must have been in the back of my mind of my dad because there were no college funds. There wasn't that kind of situation for us. But I guess by my junior year, I think I started to realize I might have an opportunity. Now, the problem for me was, despite playing AAU and getting some exposure. I played in the post. I loved playing in the post. I would never trade that position. I love it. I absolutely love it. But I didn't grow much. Yeah. After a certain point, I did not keep getting taller. And I knew that I would increase my opportunities of getting looks if I could dribble, but I never wanted to. So I played in the post, and I knew that that was probably going to limit my opportunities, but I was pretty committed to staying in that position. So I guess around junior year, it was like, if somebody wants a short, squatty post with a big heart, I'm that girl. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the mindset was like, I don't really care how tall you are. I've got something for you. And I think that I had some opportunities. I had some looks at some good schools, but I think that they also knew I was never going to be able to play in the post. Okay. I just was too short. Mm-hmm. So I also wasn't lean. My sister is 6'2", Robin, and she is the quintessential Division I basketball body. And I swear, in one practice, she blocked my own shot. And I was like, sister, you can block everybody's shot on this court except for mine, okay? Like, this is the deal. You gotta manage that. But yeah, she had the D1 body. I didn't. So it was just like, yeah, I'm getting exposure. And I consider myself a pretty tough kid on the court. But it was like, yeah, you might get some looks, but you're probably not gonna go big time. You're just not. You just are not equipped to make it. So I looked at the opportunities I had and took what was, I thought, the best one.
And, that best one wasn't too shabby, I don't believe, there, Kim. I know you're being a little modest here. How'd you decide to go to Princeton?
So by the grace of God, I got some looks. Mm-hmm. And, and I happened to play with some really fantastic women that helped me get some looks. So, I mean, I will be forever grateful for the women that I did play with. It was the best opportunity to get the best education and the best basketball experience. And so it was an easy decision. It was in-state. I come from a close neighborhood, close family. It was in-state, though it could have been worlds away. My mom had my youngest sister when I was junior high school. And I just also felt like I just didn't want to be away from her. She was my baby sister. And we were all really close, but I had a real bond with my baby sister, Hillary. And I just couldn't imagine going far away and just not watching her grow. So all of those factors, I think, contributed to that decision. And though it was tough, I think it was the best one for me.
Tough as far as did you have to narrow down between it was another school?
Oh, no, not that kind of tough.
Okay. Yeah. The distance and everything, though.
You might hold me in a higher light than the reality.
Cut it out.
It wasn't that kind of
they would have been fighting for you.
Yeah. Amber, you had some decisions to make too.
I visited Amber School.
Yeah.
I took a visit to UMass because Amber was there. And so that where she decided to go also influenced me because I was like, well, I'll take a visit there and see if I could possibly play with my neighborhood friend, my family member.
So you go up north there. I mean, both worlds are different. I mean, whether it's Princeton or whether it's Massachusetts here. I mean, how do y'all adapt?
It was tough.
Plus basketball is more of a business, obviously, too. So you got that as well, too. So you're saying it was tough?
Yeah, I mean, I went to UMass. I think the way I was recruited and there wasn't really much time. And I kind of went sight unseen. I just said, you know what, they give me a full ride. So, and to Kim's point, like I didn't know where my college funds were coming from. So I'm like, I'll go, But once I got there, it was a tough transition for me. It really was. Coming from Immaculate, our graduating class was maybe 92, I think. And then I go to a school where your initial classes are like hundreds of people in these big, classes. And you're just like, for me, it was a tough change. And I realized that I kind of liked when people knew who I was or cared something about you where like here, you could go to class or not, you could, so I think some of those things were a big change for me. And I just felt like, I don't know if I love this. And then when I got used to that, overall, it was UMass I was the early 90s. there was not a lot of diversity up there, to be honest. And myself and my roommate were pretty much the only two people of color on the team. And I just didn't really love it. So I committed to the year because I just wanted to give myself a chance. But probably by midway through, I knew that I wasn't going to stay, which was a hard decision for me because I knew that coming home would not be, my parents would be like, what are you doing? Like, you're giving this up. But ironically, I had reached out to some of my people that I talked to, and Mrs. McGrath was one of them. And she was my coach at Immaculate. And she left Immaculate to go to Rutgers, Newark. And when I told her that I was unhappy, of course, she's like, oh, we got a place for you, you know? So she kind of helped guide me, and I wound up transferring to Rutgers, not just because of her. There were some other, their programs there. And at the time I was going to be pre-med, and they had a great pre-med bio program there. So I decided to transfer. And she just, I mean, I'll never forget how great she made that transfer for me, because it was almost like I was still on a scholarship for between work study and other things that she was helped me get, you know. So I think ultimately it was the best decision for me, and I enjoyed the rest of my college career, and I still played, so it was nice.
Yeah. How was it playing just on a collegiate level, Amber, first?
You know, I loved it. I feel like I always enjoyed competition. I did enjoy the play, other than the schooling and, you know, being in UMass and having the opportunity to play against women who really enjoyed the game as well. We did a lot of traveling. We did a lot of like Connecticut, New Hampshire. We got to go to tournaments, and so that part I did miss. But I enjoyed it. I felt like I established a decent position for the year I was there. Because we had like a graduating senior leaving, and I was coming in, and they were trying to kind of work me into that position. And unlike Kim, I love defense. So I felt like if I could stop the opponent from scoring, we had to, you know, so I think that I was like that defensive threat that I enjoyed. I tried to do that with every part of my bone, like whether I scored or not, I was going to play some defense. So, but yeah, I enjoyed the level of competition there. And then moving on to Rutgers, because UMass was D2 and Rutgers was D3. So I still enjoyed it. We had some great people down there, Jackie Oliver, Vangela, I'm trying to think, Crystal Robinson, a lot of different players from like Shabazz University, different places that had some great competition that maybe didn't think they could get to that level. They stayed in town, and we had some really great years of basketball. So it was a nice time. I kind of miss it sometimes.
It sounds like, you know, it was a good time, definitely. And Kim, you, how was your go around here on that hardwood in college?
It was tough, and I think that for many different reasons, my basketball experience at Princeton was really tough. Though it was in state, Princeton culturally felt like a different world. And I think that I suffered from what I now know is called Imposter Syndrome, where I was there, I didn't see many people around me that looked like me, and I felt like I shouldn't be here. And I even contemplated transferring. After 2 years, I thought, this is not the experience that I wanted. And I need to find someplace else to go. So I think culturally, it was really a tough adjustment. Additionally, we played basketball, but I will say that there's a lot about basketball that we still could have learned in terms of basketball theory and offensive sets and defensive sets that I feel a lot of my teammates brought with them that I just didn't have. So I'm learning the game, wanting to contribute, but it was tough. My first year, I didn't play much. And, you know, when they recruit you, it's like, oh, you're going to be this for us and you're going to be that for us. And I was none of that. So that was hard because I'm used to playing. I'm not used to sitting on the bench. I don't sit on the bench, you know, so that was an adjustment. But I think Amber said earlier, like these experiences help shape who we are. And though it was tough, I don't know that I would trade it. I had a lot to learn about the world and a lot to learn about myself. And I think in the end, I just realized how resilient I am in terms of handling the challenges. Now, by junior year, I played a lot. And I didn't care whether I started. To me, it was about who was on the court at the end of the game, and oftentimes it was me, and my teammates. So I had to learn my role and then grow within that role. So I also did not grow, but at Princeton they let me play in that 4 position. I loved it, and I played with some really very talented women. So it was a tough adjustment, but I'm glad I stuck with it. It was hard though.
It sounds like what got you through. I mean, obviously East Orange is right there, but to your point, it's miles away. Just think about it, Cole. What got you through all that? I mean, anybody, your family held you down, or
that's a great question, and I'm gonna say, my parents' faith that they then instilled in us. I mean, I really called on my faith and prayer. I joined the gospel choir at Princeton, and that became a real outlet for me, because that was a group of similar-minded people who, we got together regularly. That was my outlet. That was that's how I recharged in terms of finding a community. But I'd say my family, my faith, and then of course, my teammates were supportive. But once I found my niche in my community, that helped as well.
Yeah. And then Amber, you had adjustment to make, from Massachusetts back home. I mean, you had people in your corner, it sounds like, too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the transition from Massachusetts back home was easier than the transition from home to Massachusetts.
Okay.
I was able to still stay in the dorm, so I still got the college experience, even though I was like 15 minutes from home, and I think it just grew me. Like Kim said, I think there were challenges and things that you have to go through, but there were also opportunities that you kind of like say, oh, okay, this might work, or things that people helped me navigate through, where if I was away, I don't think I would have had as much support. And, ultimately, once I came home, I mean, when I threatened to come home, my parents weren't happy about it, because, everybody's like, well, who's going to pay for this? And I'm like, you know what, we'll figure it out. But, and, you have some loans and things to take care of, but honestly, it was all worth it. It was definitely all worth it.
And speaking of all worth it, when that clock finally hit 0000, and the lights went off, and you had to take that uniform off for the last time, and how did that feel?
Great.
Okay.
You think great, Kim?
I do. I think that by the time I was done as a senior, I had become a co-captain of the team, which I thought was great. My junior year, I was the MVP of the team. That was great. Like, I feel like I had accomplished all that I needed to accomplish for myself. And I knew I was done. I knew that I was done. Now, around the time that I graduated, the WNBA was taken off. I had teammates that were playing overseas. I did not wish to continue my career. I was done. So I think that in my final year, we made it to the WNIT as an at-large bid, which no Ivy school had ever done before. And though we got our butts kicked, we represented ourselves well. I was proud that we had made it to postseason play. We came in second place that year to Harvard. Harvard had Allison Feaster, who's one of the best players I've ever played against. It was kind of like, well, look, we've done all we can do. And so I was proud of the accomplishments, and I was ready to be done.
Okay. Same feeling, Amber, or you felt a little different?
I felt a little different. I felt like I was happy with accomplishments, and I had fulfilled a great, I played in college, and that was wonderful. But I think the thing that I missed when I left college was I had always been a part of a team. And when I left, I was like, wow, this is like, I don't have a team to be a part of. And I wasn't in a sorority because I was always a part of, the team. So I just felt like when I left, I'm like, what am I going to do now? So I would play at the Y sometimes with the older guys, or, because I didn't want to get hurt. But I was just like, I kind of need this a little bit. And I think that turned keyed a little into some running and other things for me. But yeah, I miss the team. Because I always had great teams that I was a part of. And I felt like it transitioned into other things. But initially, I did miss the team part of it.
Okay. Now, with sports here, what has it given both of y'all that sticks with you to this day?
I don't know. Amber, take
it.
Start us off.
I think perseverance. Like, I just feel like there's a part of me that no matter who my opponent was, no matter what their record was or whatever, it's just, I always felt like we could win, you know? So I think that in life, I kind of feel like no matter what the odds are, no matter what's going on, no matter how hard it feels or sounds, I always feel like with some work and some perseverance, I can do it, you know? And I think it maybe that work ethic from I would say I would take away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that in addition to what Amber said, I think, and very similar, it's like that term resilience really became my word. Like, to be resilient. I think that Justice, our new Supreme Court Justice, and of course her name slips me, but she said persevere, and I like that term as well. I think that being a female student athlete, you learn resilience and you learn perseverance. And like Amber said, like there's a grittiness about you that's like, look, whatever the opponent or the challenge or the obstacle, I can get through this. And I think basketball, sports, kind of hone that for me, which I think I'll be forever in debt to. That learning those life lessons has been really priceless. I also want to make a plug. I've got some nieces that are coming along, and I've got nephews that are going to be, I imagine, pretty special. And I think that as an aunt, it's been so gratifying to watch them enjoy sports, especially the young women. My nieces who are 13 and under. I've got a handful that like sports, and you can see that grit in them, that determination in them, that drive, and then that competitive spirit. I think as a woman, you need that in life. And so if you cultivate it through sports, that's wonderful.
Yeah. No, definitely, definitely. Wanted to ask, I mean, again, I know I got your time here, and I'm going to take every minute I can, because I don't know when I'll get y'all again. So wanted to just ask some not so random questions here. Is that cool?
Cool.
All right, cool. Being Jersey folks here, do you prefer the Parkway or the Turnpike?
Definitely Parkway for me.
Yeah, no, the Parkway is what gets me home from Connecticut, so I'm gonna say the Parkway as well.
Okay. Great Adventures or Action Park?
Great Adventure.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm one of 6. We didn't get to Great Adventure much.
Okay.
Great Adventure was in our backyard.
Let me get a little closer to the crib here. Union Flea Market or Bamberger's?
Ooh.
Bamberger's.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go with Union Flea Market.
Cause Union Flea, yeah. Ooh,
Union Flea, boy, you can find everything.
I'm my mother's child. She was a Bamberger's
and my mom was too, Amber. You know,
yep.
My mom didn't drive, and the 74 bus used to go down our street, and so we could hop on the bus with my mother and get to Bamberger's.
Yeah.
I clearly remember those escalators that had the wood flat like this. Like I'm a Bamberger's girl too. To my mom, it was so accessible for her.
No, that's funny here. Ice cream here, Magic Fountain or Applegate?
Applegate was a treat for us, so I'm gonna go Applegate.
Same here. Definitely was a treat.
And it's like a nice little atmosphere too. I like Applegate.
Yeah. These are the questions now.
Yeah.
He's the one. No. Here we go. Club 88 or Essex Catholic Party?
Ooh. I'm gonna say Club 88 because Lance, my brother, never let me go to Essex Catholic Party because he didn't want to see.
He kept you wait, but he left eventually. So.
He did, and then I did go.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's like 50-50, but I'm gonna go with 88.
Got you.
I have a confession. I've never been to either one.
Wow. Okay. I just heard about him that Monday or that next.
Yeah, you would overhear some things, but I never got to witness it either way.
Okay. Probably a good thing. Probably in hindsight, definitely.
Nothing good came out of them, Kim.
Yeah. Now, y'all the best basketball players in your families?
I'm
I
kind
don't
of.
think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, if you ask me, I might say yes, but Lance would say no.
Yeah.
So a younger brother, his name is Mark, and he played for Seton Hall Prep high school, and he may not know this, but I think he was a pretty talented player. He also played in the post. He's 6'5", so he wasn't exceptionally tall, but he was really powerful and skilled at what he did. I have a tremendous amount of respect for his game, and was super proud of his contributions both at the high school and college level. You know, one of the things that as a young woman without many icons to follow, I wanted to be Akeem Olajuwon. I loved his play in the post. I loved it. I was obsessed with it. And I saw my brother, I'm not gonna say he was as skilled as Akeem Olajuwon, but he had some moves. He could handle his business in the post. So I would say he was probably more talented than I was, more skilled than I was. And he's got a couple daughters that are also pretty competitive. So, you know, maybe they'll be the best of the family.
Okay. When you let your hairs down here, what do you guys ladies like to do here? Like, what's one of the things you like to do?
I'll let you take that one, Kim.
Amber's a runner. She's an avid runner. She has a brother that's also an avid runner and like a cyclist. Amber has tried to recruit me, and as a friend, I love her for trying to recruit me.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of more like in the walking lane. And Evan, you should know Amber and I talk pretty regularly. So we have our conversations and connections. But I try to walk and I don't know, spend time with family.
I know. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and I just think I'm at a point in my life where, you know, the going out and hanging and probably COVID didn't help that, but I really like to be able to relax. You know, my husband and I, we love traveling. We haven't done so much since, you know, COVID, but I really enjoy, like, if I could get to anywhere in the world, I just love it. I love to see different cultures and enjoy different foods and things like that. But as Kim said, locally, I don't know if I enjoy it all the time, but I do like running. I have a group that I kind of run with sometimes, and I enjoy that. And one of my girlfriends turning 50, and we're doing like a wine glass half marathon in like next weekend in New York. So I'm looking forward to that. So just like doing different things that, you know, you can do while you can do it. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, definitely. Now you taking the wine before you run?
Hopefully after. I won't make it. I'm thinking afterward would be a better bet.
Okay. All right. Kim, Scott or Princeton?
I'm always going to be down for East Orange, so I'm going to go with Scott.
Amber, Immaculate or Rutgers North?
Immaculate. It's tough though, but Immaculate.
Okay. Best game each of you has ever played on any level?
Best game.
I'm going to just go with the Essex County. It might not have been my personal best game, but it's my best memory of a game because I feel like that was just like an awesome, you know, I believe the women have won now since for Immaculate.
Within the last couple of years, I think they did win one, right?
But prior to that, that was our first Essex County victory. And I felt great. The team was like, you know, it was just an awesome feeling. So I think that trumps any personal best. I really enjoyed that win.
Yeah, and I'm going to say the same. It's not about the individual contribution. It's always going to be about that vibe with the team, that energy with the team. And so, though I'm not going to specifically name a game, but the team that I played with at Scott, we had to play, who did we play? It was there was one season where we had to play the same team 3 times in one season.
Okay.
And everyone was saying, look, you can't beat a team 3 times. That's just, statistically really difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably better I don't remember the team, but the team that I played with at Scott, we beat that team 3 times.
Well, it wasn't immaculate.
It was not immaculate. It was not immaculate, for the record. It was not
just second, I'm just saying.
Now it's crazy. Y'all never played each other in high school, like your schools.
No, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But I would say that series was probably like, yeah, no, we them girls.
And speaking of them girls here, best team you ever been on? On any level, best team you ever been on?
It's a good question.
I'm gonna say this was probably because it started me to really have the passion for basketball beyond was our when we played at Townsend, youth games.
Youth games.
Youth games was like a fun time. We went away. That was my first experience on a college campus in Maryland. I felt like it was like this, you think you're in the big leagues. You're like 15 years old. And that was a great memory for me. So that was one of the nicer times where you just got away from home and you're, just playing a game you like and love. And I think that was one of my first real great memories. And then it other times come in, but that would probably be the one I'd say formed me.
Yeah.
And you can't say no similar to Amber on this one.
I can't. Because we were actually teammates for that experience.
Yeah, it was because I was playing with Kimmy. That was my
There are probably a handful of people that can call me Kimmy and get away with it. Amber's one.
Okay.
Just for the record. Not many people do, but she can. I would say winning the Group 3 championship in I guess it was my senior year, and the women that I played with, like Dana and Marla and Kim Gregory and Priya, Rhonda, just that group. We had to play on a neutral site, and we got rid of the folks in the stands were just relentless. I mean, calling us names and, I don't know, they were trying their best to not, help us win, and just overcoming that. Did I say Dana was part of that team for sure? That was just that's a great basketball memory.
Yeah. Is there a game any one of you all would like to have back?
Yeah. We played Linden. Later that season, we played Linden in the States, and oh man, I played like some trash.
Yeah.
Tamika Dixon did not play like trash. She had a great game. So
that happens with her.
That tends to happen with her. So I would love to redo that one. Not that the outcome would change, but just knowing what I know now. Maybe I'd play some defense.
Defense wins games, Kim.
Yeah.
Because I didn't bring it on that one.
I'm trying to think. The one time that I wish I could have changed, I remember my aunt, I was so excited. My aunt and uncle came to see me play from Maryland. I was playing somewhere in New Hampshire when I was at UMass, and I was so excited they came to play, and I felt like I had, one of those games you just do everything wrong. And so I feel like because they were like, after the game, they're like, oh, you played a great game. They were like, they couldn't even say that. I'm like, so you guys want to go get something to eat?
Yeah.
But I wish I could have played more my standard of game when they came to see me. Because I always look back at that. I was like, wow, they traveled all that way and I played like crap. But,
I wanted to take a second.
Go ahead. Kim.
Acknowledge there were great players in Newark. Women in Newark. And some of the names escape me, but if any of them happen to be watching this, tremendous amount of respect for all the women in our region that were really pioneering and setting the pace for the women that came after us. I mean, no disrespect in terms of games and performance and outcomes, because really all of us were doing the same thing. We were making our contributions to women in sports.
Yes.
And in this is the 50th year of Title IX. And when I started to become aware of the history of women in sports, I was quite proud of the women that came before us to allow us to have those opportunities. And I'm abundantly proud of the women that I played with and that came after us and are continuing to contribute to pushing women in the realm of sports. So
absolutely.
You know, I love all my sisters in sports. The ones that we played with all contributed to just a really exciting time.
I echo that, because I feel like even with Kim's, I mean, we never all played together, but like Kim Gregory, Sharonda, Marla, like all that whole window of people and people a little before, a little after, we did have some great people in our area. And I think that, you know, it said a lot. And even to this day, I mean, I kind of feel like, you know, I look at sports differently, and I always kind of like, I remember my brothers would be like, oh, we're going to watch the game. And the game was always the boys or the guys game. And now sometimes you're like, or, you know, with the tennis or different things, you look at, I feel like it's becoming equalized a little bit, you know, where you just like, I'm watching tennis and you don't even know, is it the men or the women? Because they're both so good. So I feel like it started way back, you know, way before us, but we definitely appreciate being able to have that opportunity to grow from, you know, and we hope to pass the torch and keep the young girls coming up and get better and better, you know.
They are.
And actually, I was going to bring that up in regards to, you know, and I hate to just separate the men and women thing, because to what both y'all kind of alluded to, it should be just one here, but the world we live in is not. So even with that being said, though, did y'all see any subtle differences even playing early on as far as treatment y'all may have gotten versus, you know, the men or the boys, depending whether it was college or high school?
I definitely did. I feel like, you know, even just in terms of equipment and like practice time, we always came second, you know, the times, the games, like they got the prime time, we would get the before or after. And that's still sometimes the case, but I do think that it's getting closer and closer to becoming a little bit more equal. And I mean, it has to, because the level of play is kind of equalizing. And sometimes, you know, the way that the women play, I enjoy it at times more than the men with, you know, so, but yeah, I think that kind of thing I've seen more than not. I don't know how it is now, but.
Yeah. And I think that we were really fortunate in the time period that we played high school basketball. Because I will say, Amber, even when you were in at Holy Name, people came to watch the girls play.
That is true.
And when we were at Hart Middle, we had fans. And then in high school,
but Kim, was it because it was a guys' game before?
No, but no, that's a very valid.
They stayed.
Very valid point.
They stayed.
But I think Scott High, when I was coming through, had men's championship and women's championship in the same year. And I will say, like, we had fans on nights when we played and it was not a doubleheader. We had people in the stands. And I think like maybe we were part of that shift from, you know, I'm not saying that we caused it, but I'm saying we were part of that shift where boys and men appreciated and supported women winning. I mean, we had our counterparts on the men's side that would support us.
Yeah.
Cheer for us. They would tease us, of course, if we didn't play great, but they also were supportive of us. So like the Keith Roberts and Amika, I think his name was Amika. Daryl Carter. I mean, on the boys' side, we had men that were supporting us. So I'd like to say, yes, of course, there's still a discrepancy, but in East Orange, basketball was basketball. And I think that the boys and the girls at the time supported one another. I also say like Essex Catholic, we had Essex Catholic guys coming to our game. Seton Hall Prep, there might have been some other reasons.
Yeah. There's probably some other things going on. I'm with you. I know exactly where you're going with that. But go ahead.
Basketball community of East Orange, and I think that was a pretty strong.
Yeah.
You know, I think we had talent. We had so much talent in East Orange, in the women and the men. in the game, and so it was a pretty exciting time. That's a long answer.
No.
We started playing basketball, Amber. We were playing against boys.
Yeah.
And there were some boys that didn't like the fact that we could play, but there were others that respected the fact that we could play. You know, that's how we came up.
Yeah.
Now we asked a game at Washington Park. Got some people from, I don't know, South Jersey come up to play. What five each of you bringing to play with you?
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a great question. And we can only pick 5.
You pick 5. You might just stick a six one in.
Well, I need somebody to play defense, so I'm gonna go with Amber.
I got you.
Need somebody committed to and I can pick from across the board.
Across the board, positionless too.
Be a positionless, yeah. So I'm gonna take Amber because I think she was a pretty strong guard. She shared the ball. She was unselfish. She did play that relentless defense. And you know, the point guard sets the tone. But of course, I'm gonna go with Marla Turner, Kim Gregory, Dana Wynn. I'm gonna throw my sister in there because again, she was a threat. My sister's name is Robin. Shout out to you, Robin. And I'm gonna go with Tamika Dixon.
Okay.
Because I use my
yeah.
She don't have too many bad games there.
She did not. She did not.
My same question, huh, Eben?
Same question.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my girl Kimmy because I know she's gonna be a beast in the post. And then I'm gonna cross over. And actually, there's I haven't mentioned her, but Tremel McKenzie. She was from New York. You remember Trey? Kim?
I do.
She played for Uppsala, but then they shut down and she came to Rutgers and we played together. But she was a beast. She's like, she was good. And then I would probably go with like Dana Wynn. I'm gonna have to pick some of my girls from IC, like Andrea or Stacy. I don't even know how many that is right now.
That's 4. It's 4.
Keep going.
It's 4.
Who else? And I might even say my old roommate at UMass, who's awesome. We had a great backcourt game of Keisha Phelps. Keisha Phelps. And then I would want to put in reserve like a little Julie or somebody else because Julie, she's a workhorse from Immaculate. She would do her thing. You know, she worked hard and she played good D too.
Yeah, no, I remember Julie. Yeah. I remember her. Kim, you the best to come out of Scott?
No. No, I don't know. I know that there were players before us, before the core that I played with was there, that were also very good. I can't say that, not at all. I played with too many talented women, and I know that there were talented women before and after me. So no. Absolutely.
How about you, Amber? You best at Immaculate?
Yeah, I could ditto Kim's answer, but no. I mean, there were a lot before me, and I'm sure after. I don't know as much. I haven't followed, but I would say there were some good people. Like people who've gone beyond. Even like the one I remember, like Rachel Reynolds. She was pretty good. She was good. As a guard, and she scored. She got her 1,000 points in the whole 9. But there were a lot of great players. So no, I mean I think but that says a lot about the school because I think that it had some good people coming out of it. But I wouldn't say. I'm hoping I'm in like the top 10, 20. But
yeah. Who's someone who should have made it? However you define made it.
Should have made it. Goodness. That's a hard, because I think that the women that I played with made it. Made it okay. In the sense of they played as much as they wanted to play. I can't think of a person who didn't get an opportunity to play more, wanted to play more and just didn't have an opportunity. I'll say Kim Gregory is one of those folks that stands out to me that she could have played a long time. She was very physically gifted and talented. played in college, and I think that she made it. I'm not trying to say she didn't, but I could also see her continuing in a professional setting because she was just that gifted.
Yeah.
Dana made it. You know, Dana did with her career what she wanted to do with her career. Tamika Dixon, of course, played. I mean, like, everybody made it in the sense of they played as much as they wanted to, but I know Kim could have gone, you know, she could have played a lot longer.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of echo as well, but I wanted to give a little shout out to Dana Wynn, because I remember her from youth games, and when she was just still like figuring it out and finding herself, and her mom, and just she's grown, and I watched her on your official things, and I'm so proud of her. I feel like from her play on the court, and then who she's become as a woman today, like I just am so proud of her. So I feel like, you know, she obviously made it, but you know, I think if I were to think of someone who could have made it and did, that's her.
Yeah, no, and I mean, and we both had the opportunity to play with her, and watch her develop as a player and a person. Super proud to have played with her.
Right.
Yeah. Nah, definitely. Amber, what's the best part about being you?
So many.
I'm like, the best part about being that's a tough one, Evan.
That is a tough one.
I guess I would go between my faith and just my humor, and like I just feel like the way that I'm trying to navigate life, like, you know, getting to this point in life where you feel like you don't want to stay in a certain place, but you want to grow, and you just want to be, I guess, just naturally who you are. And I think I'm still trying to figure that out, but I'd say my faith is probably one of the, I guess I would say that. Yeah.
She's humble because there's so many fantastic things about her. So, but one of them is humility. So we'll let that be her answer.
How about you, Kim?
No, I don't know how to answer that question. I think that I am not who I am without my family, without the parents that I had, without the experiences that I had, without the people that have really invested in me. And so I don't know. I can't say what's the best part of being me, but I hope that that I am investing in others, that I am hopefully contributing positively to the lives of others. I would say, as Amber said, faith comes through testing. And so to say, you know, faith, there's a lot to that word because you've had to go through some things to build the faith. You know, and I have not been free from challenges, but through those challenges, it has also formed who I am. So thank you to all the people who contributed. Thank you to my wonderful family, my sisters and my brothers, cousins, you know, parents, families that are like families that are like the Andrewses that are also family. You know, they've all contributed to me being who I am, and I'm a work in progress still. And I have no problems with saying that.
I think we all are.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we all are here. Well, obviously, hopefully, you all have some more living to do. But at this moment, I want to ask, as far as what's 3 of the best moments of your life so far? It don't have to be your top 3, but what's 3 of your best moments of your life so far?
Eben, did you call up Oprah and get these?
Nah. I need that Oprah money though. But I ain't call. Yeah.
Gee whiz.
I'm gonna say one of my first 3, I would say, is definitely when I was baptized and realized that, you know, like I was called to you know, that was probably one of my most influential times in my life. And then just like a fun time was a travel to South Africa, and I think that was probably my most favorite trip ever. Just the people, the experience, everything. And the third if my husband's listening, it was my
Nah,
marriage.
he just photobombed you and went by you not too long ago.
I know. I'm like, so that would have to be.
Yeah.
I'm not in any order. It's not.
Yeah.
No, but that's a great
That's cool.
So being one of the oldest in a big family, I can remember when my younger siblings were born. And so I kind of, as a number one, like when my younger siblings were born, I was old enough to remember, and those were pretty special times. Especially the last two, my brother Mark and my sister Hillary, because I was old enough to really know what that experience was like. Watching my siblings get married and have children has also been pretty significant. I love being an aunt. I love my nieces and my nephews. They're beautiful, talented, entertaining, and I love them, a great deal. And I'm gonna reserve number 3 for the future. I don't know. Something good's gonna happen though, and that'll be my 3rd one.
All right, there we go. I'll let you speak.
You left it to be continued, Kim. I'm a one and done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be hopeful that something really, really exciting will be in that 3rd position.
Just because you slipped out of that one, can I answer this one first?
Thanks.
Nah. As far as a book on your life, what would you call it?
So I'm sorry, the justice whose name I couldn't remember is Katanji Brown Jackson.
Okay.
And I am so proud of her. Her word is perseverance. I think mine would be grace and resilience. Because I tell you, there have been some scenarios where I didn't know where a solution was going to come from. And by God's grace, I'm here. So, and then of course, the mindset, that athlete mind. I went for a walk last week, and the week prior I had done the same walk, and I challenged myself to be faster. I don't know why we do these things. It's so silly. I went for a walk. One week I did it in X time. The next week I challenged myself to do better. So that resilience, that mindset is still there.
It don't leave.
It doesn't leave. Everything's a competition. So I'd say grace and then resilience.
Grace, resilience. What would be the name of your book, Amber?
I'll probably write multiple books. So my first one, although the title is already taken, but that audacity of hope, I feel like, as much as sometimes lately that hope fades a little bit, but I really feel like generally I'm a hopeful person, and I think we need hope in this world. And yeah, so I think that I would try and find some resemblance or some type of gravity toward hope, and to pass things on to our kids. Because I work with peds, with kids now, and I just feel like any opportunity we have to teach and mold them is really important.
No, definitely here. What advice would the Kim and Amber now give that 17, 18-year-old senior in high school Kim and Amber? What advice would you give that younger you there?
Great question.
Ibn, man, where do you get these numbers?
Cut it out.
You know what I would say, because I was thinking about this probably like 2 months ago, but I would tell myself, don't be afraid to fail. Because I've learned so much from my failures, and I just feel like sometimes we just want everything to be right, or I do. I want everything to be right and perfect and this and that. And I think that being okay to fail and try so many new things, and that's what I would tell my earlier self, because sometimes I played it safe and I stayed more conservative than I had to. And I wish that I had kind of gone out on a limb sometimes and been a little more adventurous with certain things. And then you might be saying Amber instead of Oprah.
Yeah. That's right.
But she's on her way.
No offense, Oprah.
So I think that I spent a lot of time feeling unworthy or feeling like, no, I don't deserve. And I think I would now, in hindsight, give Kim the advice that, yeah, no, you deserve to be here. You've earned your way to being where you are. and don't doubt yourself. Like one of the things, I work with collegiate student athletes now, and some will come in my office and they're like, you know what, if it weren't for sports, I wouldn't be here. And I stop them immediately. And I'm like, no, that's not true. Don't tell yourself that. Because your talent, your athletic talent is only one component of who you are. You still had to apply. The university believes that you deserve to be here. You do deserve to be here, and you have something to contribute. And I just wish that Kim, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old Kim had somebody to be like, no, Kim, you got in, you deserve to be here. You have something to contribute. Don't doubt yourself, like don't spend time thinking about the many ways you don't deserve to be here or don't fit in. So I would definitely share that kind of advice with younger Kimmy, and make sure that she feels empowered and good about the uniqueness that she brought with her wherever she went.
And my last one here, what would your parents say about you?
What do your parents? Okay, so I have a little inside story.
Okay.
Amber recently received an award. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of the award. Amber didn't tell me that she won though. You know who told me? Her mother.
My mom is a proud mom.
Yeah, and she has every right to be. Amber is a success, many different levels, and Amber won't say. She won't tell. I didn't hear from her that she won this state award. But her mom did. So I know, Amber, though you may not know. I know what your mom says about you.
Yeah, they would.
Congratulations. What did you before?
What is the award, though?
Yeah, that's what I was about to
Thanks,
ask you.
Kim. We weren't gonna bring up stuff, No, it was just an award for. It was like a Governor Education of the Year award for related service provider. So. One of the schools that I work in, I was nominated and won this award, which was nice. It's nice to feel like you are doing great work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, definitely.
But to Kim's point, my mom would probably be like, I could like drill a hole in the ground and my mother would be like, I'm proud of you, So I'm grateful to have parents that no matter what I do or think I want to do, they're very encouraging and they just say, go for it, and they're proud of me. So. Definitely helps.
Yeah, and ditto. I think my mom and dad, they have gone on to glory, and they worked really hard to raise us. And I think this is not just for me. I think they'd be proud of all my siblings and the way that they're raising their families and trying to live their lives. I think they'd be just, they weren't really verbal about saying, hey, I'm really proud of you, but you could tell that they felt good about the lives that they had brought into the world. And so I think they'd be like, hey, y'all, keep it up. Losing was tough, but my mom's final instructions were like, don't fight with each other. Y'all better stick together. And I think we have. I think they'd be proud of that.
She would be so proud.
Message received.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And speaking of proud, Ibn, I think Kim and I can both say this. We are so proud of you and what you do.
Yes.
Let me can I do my little spiel first?
Sure.
Can I do my little spiel real quick? You try to beat me to the punch here. I was gonna first, Kim, you never know. This is a thing of you never know who's watching. And the reason I say that, we graduated, I believe, the same year, 92, what have you there. All my times for stealing Star Ledgers and having the opportunity to just see you doing your thing and your team doing your thing, and the accolades, that you receive, whether it's state, county, this is the thing of you never know who's watching, and just, obviously I'm at a school that's, very heavy with women's basketball in general. So obviously I had to keep an eye on things here. So I just want to say, just having another fan from back when, like I said, so this is great for me to even have opportunity to talk to you here. Like I said, not even meeting you. I mean, we've spoke on the phone since, but like, even back then, not knowing each other, what have you, like I said, you had a fan back then too. So
thank you for saying that. I think that is so kind of you to say. And I feel a little bit awkward with you saying that. But I want to say, thank you for your kind persistence. I would say that you're among the folks that really welcomed me to Connecticut and extended hey, if you ever need me, let me know. And I really appreciate that. So thank you. I wasn't going to do this. but you've made it a good experience. So
Nah, I know. Cool. I appreciate you let your guard down a little bit here. And Amber, obviously sharing the same hallways as you. I mean, I can't say, just being jealous. And I say jealous, why? Because, our little teams on our end, we won, but y'all won. Y'all won. You know what I mean? And obviously it was impacted, your team when you left. It was totally obvious that they missed you here just based on the season that they had. But even outside of that, off the court and everything, I know we didn't, conversate or talk for so much shit, but you was always just like just cool as hell. From that's just always the impression I had, just even back then, even to now here, But I appreciate you just stepping in, and you said I'm gonna step out of my comfort zone and do this as well too. So, and obviously you had your girl here, so I knew one way or another I had to be on my best behavior, because one way both of y'all will find me, and physically do some harm. Yeah, so I know I had to be on my best behavior here. So, but as collectively, I thank each of you just for doing this here. Like I said, this has been a blast since I've started them, and y'all just helped stamp that again for me as far as it just being a blast.
Thank you, Evan. We really appreciate it.
Evan, yeah, but this is fun. Thanks, Am.
Yeah, thanks, Kim. I don't know you dinner now. No.
Oh yeah, the bride was some dinner, but that's all right. Somebody can pay here.
No.
Amber, may I run into you. Obviously, everybody's back at the crib. Everybody's back there. So I'll make a point, as far as reach out one of these days and maybe just link up here. And Kim, shamefully, we both probably about 10, 15 minutes away from each other in another state here. So
just waiting for the invite. And so you just send me where I need to be.
Okay.
Even her and her sister and I are gonna make a road trip up to Kim. We'll call you. We'll all hang out.
And then we'll get together.
All right, now that sounds like a go. Definitely. Everybody be well, and again, thank you so much for doing this, ladies.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
All right. Talk to y'all soon.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye. Good stuff. Appreciate Amber and Kim taking time out to do this here. Very excited to do it, and excited throughout, and excited now that I was able to knock it out. And man, I appreciate, the friendship and everything that they have together here, and just their willingness just to talk a little bit about their walk here. But that said, I'm just gonna step away. I put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yeah.